Hello and welcome to a quick video where I'm going to try and share what little bit I know about fuel accumulators and swap one in this car. Ever since I bought it, it had a really hard time starting, especially with hot starts, but that's just gotten worse and worse over the years, and I neglected it to the point where all of a sudden it just wouldn't start at all. So today we're finally going to take a look and get it fixed. The fuel accumulator's purpose is to maintain residual line pressure when the engine is turned off. It holds this pressure with a diaphragm supported by a spring. Issues tend to arise when the diaphragm is ruptured and it can no longer hold pressure. This usually presents itself as a hot start issue, meaning the car has trouble starting when it's still warm. However, it appears in extreme cases the diaphragm can be so damaged that fuel can pass through the return line before building sufficient system pressure for even cold starts. After checking for spark and a few common issues, I was beginning to think the accumulator could be the problem. Ideally, you have a CIS fuel pressure tester so you can check your pressures from throughout the system to determine more precisely where the issue is. I ordered a kit but had my order cancelled, so I tried a different kind of test. I read about this on the Pelican Part forums from a gentleman named Tony. He suggested a few tests including blowing air through the upper chamber while capping the other upper port with your thumb to see if any air would escape through the bottom. I saw some people say this isn't a great test as the fuel system operates under much higher pressure than this test would provide, but in cases like mine, I could still get air through. To illustrate this, I put it under some water. There are other ways of testing, like capping the return line and looking for fuel when the pumps are on, but the air test was enough to convince me. I should note that some early models don't have the bottom port to the return line, but instead just have the top two ports. If these are damaged, fuel can leak from the bottom of the accumulator and cause a fire. So how do we change out the accumulator? First off, I'd recommend letting the car sit overnight to let the system depressurize and be mindful of fuel throughout the process as we don't want any fires. I kept some paper towels handy to catch any spillage. Disclaimers aside, it's a pretty simple job. I have a turbo, so I had to remove my intercooler to gain access. Then I removed the lines to both the accumulator and the fuel filter. These two parts are connected by an S-shaped piece of hardline. I personally found it easiest to remove them as a single unit, especially because I planned on changing my fuel filter as well. There's a clamp that goes around the filter to hold the unit in place. You can see the little bracket that it slides over here. Once I had everything out, I did my testing before swapping the new goodies onto the hardline and installing it. With everything back in, I ran the pumps once again without cranking the engine. Already, the sound was way different than before. You could hear the system pressurizing rather than just whining. I checked for any leaks and then decided to try my luck. Amazingly, it started like nothing, better than ever before. I'm kicking myself for not figuring this issue out earlier, but I'm excited to drive this car more without having to worry about being stranded. Again, this is just one potential cause for low system pressures, but I hope it helps someone with the same issues. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.